Hi everyone. So today we are going to be learning how to cut a vintage shirt. So the first thing I want to do is to make sure that my pattern is well placed on the fabric, and the next thing I'll be doing is to fold in up to 4 inches. You can do 5 inches also depending on your fabric, but just to make sure that you have up to 4 inches there. Also go ahead and take your body measurement, that's divided by 4, and you had your 1 inch seam allowance. And please, for the length of your shirt, you want it to be a bit longer. You wouldn't want to use the same measurement as your usual top length, and this is because you don't want your shirt to be too short when you put it on. So the part you see me working on right now in this video is the front bodice. This is the front part of the shirt. So you are going to fold as you can see in this video. And for those that may want to ask if there is need to add folding allowance to the front bodice, I would say no for a shirt, because I'm going to be raising the back bodice up a bit, probably by 3 inches or more depending on what you want. So that will cover up for the folding. So for me, I don't usually add any allowance for the folding of my shirt. So now I have gone ahead to cut out the front bodice length out. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to place it on the back bodice. Now watch carefully at this point. You can see me pulling the front bodice out a bit with about half of an inch. That is going to serve as the button allowance, where the front will be overlapping, so that when you put on your shirt, it's not going to be revealing your underwear or something. So it is important to leave that out. All right, the next thing I want to do now is to do the shoulder slant. So I'm going to come down by 2 inches. This totally depends on how you want it, how slant you want your shoulder to be. You can do 2.5, but I just like to do 2 inches. That's okay for a shirt. So I'm going to be slanting the shoulder by 2 inches, and I'll root that to connect it to the other side, just as you can see in this video, and I'll be cutting it out. So the next thing to do now is I want to increase the length of the back. Now this is very easy to do. Just watch what I'll be doing here. Place your tape on it and increase it. As you can see here, just increase it following the line you had already slanted for the front. That is just what you are going to do. So I'm going to be increasing the back with 3 inches. You can do more, but 3 inches is just fine. You can do 4 inches too. So this is me just showing you all that I have 3 inches there as the difference between the length of the front and the back. So now I'm just going to follow the slanted line for the front, and I'll cut out the back, as you can see here. Now we are done cutting out our front and back bodies, and the next thing we'll be doing now is to go in with our measurements. So now I'm going to be folding the back bodies on the front. Remember, the part where we folded at the center front is the front bodice, which is the part that I have on top. So I'm going to be folding the back on it, as you can see here in this video. If you have your pressing iron close to you, please, you can go ahead and press it down at this point. It is really going to help you. So here I'm just trying to secure it with pin, just so the fabric can stay in a place. And the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to go in with the shoulder measurement. I'm going to be taking my shoulder measurement and the armhole measurement. Just make sure you are folding the back shoulder area just like it is in this video on the front. That is how to cut a proper shirt, and take all your measurements that way. I'll go ahead and do my armhole cover at this point. This is nothing serious, just the usual way we do for every other outfit. Before I proceed, I would like to mention that at this point we already have our folding allowance for the length here. Remember the other time I said I was not going to add folding allowance to the front bodies, just because I will be raising the back up a bit. So that is just it. Please feel free to always reconfirm your measurements while you are doing yours, just to make sure that you have an accurate measurement. But for me, this method works. So for the neck part, I'll be using 3 inches as the depth. That is from where the front body starts. And if I'm going to be measuring from the top, that means, as you can see from the back of this video till the neck depth, that means I might be using like 4.5 inches for it. Some people do take their neck measurement, and I think they use neck measurement divided by 6 or something, but I'll be using 3 inches if you are measuring from the front part. All I'm trying to say here is that if you are measuring the neck depth right from the parts where you folded the back on it, you can do 4.5 inches. And if you are starting from the front, just the front alone, you can do 3 inches. Note that this doesn't work for everybody. It depends on the body size. If you are making the shirt for babies, you can do 2 inches depth. Totally depends on the body size. And some people do take the neck measurement and divide it by 6. But for this shirt that I'm making right now, which works for almost everybody, I'll be using neck depth of 3 inches and the width of 2.5 inches. Please kindly note that the part I am cutting is just the front too. I'm cutting the front alone. Please do not mistakenly cut the back bodies. This is how to cut the back, just the way you folded it on the front bodies. Go ahead and cut out this way. Or if you want to really measure out, you can do the depth of 1.5 inches you already know that you're going to use the same width for both the front and the back, which is 2.5 inches. So that is how your neck measurement should look like when you are done. Please don't forget the ½ inch I mentioned earlier that you should leave out for the front bodice. That is for the button area. So I'll go ahead and just split the two parts of the front bodice here, as you can see me do here. And yes, I already took the body measurement off camera. It is nothing serious. For shirt, you don't need too much shape, or if you are making for a lady, you can just give it a bit of shape, just a bit of shape. Please don't let it to be too much, but most times you don't need to shape it out. So just go ahead and put in your measurements. That's probably bust divided by 4, or the biggest part of the top divided by 4, and add 1 inch for side seam allowance. The next thing I'll be doing now is to cut out the yoke. It is very easy to cut. It is not like you are cutting a facing. And lastly, I would like to give us this tip. While taking our shirt measurement, please, you don't want it to be too tight. Please, it shouldn't be too tight like the usual top measurement that you take. For instance, if your bust is 36, you can make it 40. And that will be all for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. I'll see you in my next video.